Alright, now we're going to look next at figure 3 question 1d. Okay, and A is the front view, B is the end view, plan view is at the top. Again, please draw the necessary boxes so that you know the position of your views. Do also put the meter line so that as you are drawing, you'll come to a point where you want to check, make sure that you got your views in the correct position and your meter line is in the correct position. If not, you won't be able to do your projection. Okay, for this view you need to this is the front view, so what happens is your man will float over to the top and look at it. So your plan view will look, your plan view will have a length of 114 and a breadth of 60. Alright, let me start with the front view first. Okay, let me start with the front view. So the front view is in this region, end view is here, and plan view is here. The reason why I want to start with the front view is so that I want to show you how it's actually okay to draw halfway and then stop in between. Okay, so I'm going to draw a center, and I know I'll start off with the circles. I know so what you do is you always go about drawing the features, or the features meaning the lines or the outlines, the ones that is given very distinct, and or like you want to draw them first. Okay, so the first arc that I see is okay, let's toggle back here. I'm going to draw this arc. Okay, there's full circle and then I'll trim it into a half circle, R24 and R38, and then I'll draw the base and then I'll work up through the web and the top over here, and I'll realize that I'll come into some obstacles with dimensions that are not known, and I will stop halfway. Okay, I will stop halfway, and you have to feel comfortable with stopping halfway. Okay, so this is R24. The next circle will be R38, and I'm going to trim the bottom half. Alright, and I know that there will be an outline, and the line is from here to here. Okay, and then there will be another outline from here the way this length. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shorten my center line. Right, I'm going to bring it, zoom it in, I'm going to shorten it to this distance here. Okay, and the thickness of this base, right, the thickness of this base is 15 millimeters. So I get my dimensions here, and what I'll do is I will click offset 15. Now offset this. Okay, then what I'll do is I'll trim, because I know that don't need this anymore, don't need this. And the next thing that I will want to find is that what I'll do is I'll do this trick, right? I'll draw a line, no need to be so high, just randomly, and I know that the overall length starting from this point all the way to the end is 114. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just do an offset, and I'll delete that line later, right? 114, and I'll select this, bring it across. Then what I'll do is I'll trim it away, right? Okay, now that we have done this, I'm going to reduce my center line, right? So in the exam, don't be taken aback by the question. Don't feel like, oh, it's so complicated. No. Take it one step at a time, and then start drawing, right? Start drawing. Take it one step at a time, start drawing, and you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll lengthen this. I'll drop this further. Now, some of you will be asking, hey, sir, there is a radius here at the corner, and how do I reflect the radius here in the front view? And what you do is you look at your drawing and you realize that there is no outline right? Because the radius is tangent to this surface, right? So there is no outline, and therefore we will just leave it as it is, okay? The radius will only be reflected in the plan view. We'll only see the radius in the plan view. The next question that I get a lot from students is, so where do I know where to draw the center line? Now, whenever you see the center lines in the drawing here, then they should be reflected in the drawing. Okay, so if you see a center line here, it should be reflected in the drawing. You see a center line here, it should be reflected in the drawing. Okay. All right. What are we going to draw next? Next, we're going to try and draw up this tower. Okay, draw up this tower, and we know that from the base to the center of this circle is 68. Can you see this distance here? And how do I know it's the center of this circle? Because there is a line that projects across and it intersects the center line of this circle. Now it looks a bit three-dimensional because you go up and then you go in, then you go right again, then you see the center of the circle. So from the base to the center of the circle is actually 68 millimeters, right? 68 millimeters. And the width of this what do you call that? Let's call it a tower. Okay, look at this. No, the correct term is a lug. L-U-G. What is the width of this lug over here? You know that the radius of the circle is 19, so the width of this would be 38, right? Because it's just 19 times 2 from this line to this line is 38. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I am going to do an offset of 68, and actually I can offset any line. I can offset this line, I can offset my center line, right? It's okay. And then that's where the height of the circle is. But how about in the x-axis, right? In the x-axis, we won't know yet, so what we do is we draw. Okay, we draw an outline, and the outline will stop over here. Okay, now what you can do is you can type in here 19, alright, and that's the center. Then you can type another 19, enter, and you can go down. Okay, and it coincides 38. Okay, coincides. Alright, so what we can do is we can shorten this, because whenever the outline overlaps the center line, the outline takes precedence. Okay, now you notice that I drew the outline in two segments because I wanted to find where my center is. Okay, now in any case, if let's say you didn't do that, right? Let's say you didn't do that. Let's say you drew a line all the way across because you know it's 38, right? No worries. We're going to draw the circle first, and you're going to ask yourself, where am I going to position the center of this line? Now, what you can do is you can press Ctrl right click, and you can choose the midpoint of the line. Okay, and you'll see a green triangle. Can you see a green triangle there? That's the midpoint of the line, and snap over here. Okay, so we have this lug. Okay, we have this lug, and I'm going to delete away features that I don't need, which is this. And I can trim the bottom half of the circle, right? And then I'm going to draw the circle that's coming over here, and the radius or the diameter of this is 24, and therefore the radius is 12. Okay, there's a cutout here at the center, but I'm not going to draw that just for now, or I may draw that. Yeah, okay, I may not draw that. I may draw that later. Okay, now this is done. Okay, the lug, and then there is a web. Okay, there's a web that comes down all the way to the circle. Okay, all the way to the boss. We'll call this a boss. Okay, a boss. It's like a small little tower that comes up over here. Usually a shaft goes in here. Now many students would assume that this boss is a full continuous circle, but if you look carefully at it, you realize that the web comes down and eats into a segment of the circle, and the width of this circle is 10 millimeters, right? But the distance from this line to maybe say the center of the circle or even the start of the arc here is not given at all. Okay, it's not given at all. And so what will happen is that we may not be able to complete the web as of now, and we will not be able to complete the full circle as of now. Okay, because we do not have the dimensions. We can try to do an offset of 92 so that we can find the center of this boss, and we can draw bits of it, but we may not be able to draw the full dimension of it. So we know that there is an offset of 92, right? 92. So what we can do is I can go to my center line, and I do an offset of 92. Okay, and I know that the diameter of the boss, the hole is 15, the diameter is 25, right? So therefore the radius on one end is 12.5. The radius on one end is 12.5. So what I can do is I can always go back to my outline, alright, and I can just type 12.5 here. I can delete that line later, and then I go up, right? And what is the height of the boss, right? The height of the boss is 32. Where did I get that number from? It's here, right? It's here. And now I'm drawing from the base. So what would be the height of this boss over here? It is actually 32 minus 15, which gives us 17. Okay, so we type here 17, and we go across, right? Now I drew it slightly longer because we don't know where this distance terminates and how it goes up there. Oh, that's my cat. That's my cat. She's protesting because he's got no more food. Then I'm going to draw the center line of this. Okay, it's a bit long. Let me, oops, bring it closer. And I'm going to draw from here all the way down. Okay, so what's left for me to draw actually is a web. I know it starts out from this corner, but I do not know exactly where it ends because there is at that 10mm width. So I'm going to stop here for now, right? There's an extra center line here, and I should delete that away. Okay, because marks will be minus if marks will be deducted if you have extra features lying around in your drawing. So this is it for my front view. It's not completed yet, but I am happy with it, and I'm going to move on. And the next thing that I'm going to move on is I could move on to the end view. I could move on to the plan view. It's perfectly okay. Type H for horizontal, and I'm going to mark out the extremities of my view, front view. Okay, the extremities of it. One is here, and the other one is here. Okay, so this is my front view. Then some of you get worried, it's like, oh, where are my outlines? They're missing. So what I'm going to do is highlight everything, right click, draw order, send, bring to front. Then you see everything over here. Okay, then we're going to do an offset of 20mm. You could do 30 if you want to, it's okay, but whatever it is, if you do 20 on the offsets, you stick it for both the horizontal and vertical. Okay, and the last thing that I need, the next thing I want to draw is the meter line. Okay, so I'll put about 170 tab, and the angle is 90 plus 45, and that is 135. Okay, now you're going to ask yourself, what is going to be the width of my end view? Okay, and if you look at your end view from this side, which is B, right? So you put your man over on this side and you're looking at from this. What's the width of it, right? So look out for the dimensions, and some students will make a mistake, they'll put 36, but it's not, right? Because the base is the one that has the extreme width, and the extreme width is 60 millimeters. 60 millimeters. So what we need to do is we need to take an offset. Sorry, I didn't click on it. Offset of 60 millimeters, and I just bring it across, right? Likewise, it's projected upwards here and across. Okay, so I need not do an offset. I can just do the horizontal line. Okay, and I can snap to this point. So this is my end view, and this is my plan view. So at this point of time, you just sit back, take a pause, half a second, check, is the position of all my views correct? My front view, end view, plan view with a meter line. My front view, plan view, end view with a meter line. Yes, it's correct, so I can carry on drawing. Now the next thing that I want to draw is my plan view. Okay, so I'm going about with a rectangle. I can draw it with a rectangle. Okay. Sometimes I don't like to draw the rectangle command because I like to offset from the edges. And if you do an offset with a rectangle, what you get is you will offset all four sides. So I usually draw it up like that. Okay, as individual different segments. So the very first thing that you can draw that you know of or that you're aware of is that there are fillet radius at this side here that's totally visible from the top. So you see your man was facing this view, the front view. Let me pull that here. And then he floats right up and he looks from the top, and that's what you're going to see. He's going to see the boss here on the left, he's going to see the web in the center, and he's going to see this lug, right, or a mini tower on the right hand side. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to draw from right to left. Okay, I'm going to draw from right to left, and that's how my approach is. And the features that I'm going to draw next is the fillet radius, and I type R for radius. That's something that you need to remember because the default value may be 0 or some other value that is not 22. So you need to always set the radius value first before you click the edges. Alright, so R is 22, and I select my 2 radius. Okay, and I repeat that. Now you need not type R22 already because you've already done that earlier. Okay, but if you want to repeat the steps process, it's fine. Right, it's fine. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw. I know that I have this what do they call that? This boss, right? This boss at the center, and it's at the center here, and there is a center line, and I can't find my center line at the moment. There's nothing to snap to. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make use of this line here, and I'm going to draw a line command. Control right click, I'm going to choose the midpoint, and I'm going to snap to the triangle here, right? And then I'm going to draw across. Okay, I don't want it touching the outline in case I forget later. So I bring it closer in, and I'm going back to my outline, and I'm going to draw my circle, and I'm going to draw a full circle first. Okay, and this full circle is diameter 25, so the radius is 12.5, right? And there is a inner circle of diameter 15. So right here, diameter 15. Whoops, wrong. Because it's diameter, so I have to put this to 7.5 because that's the radius, right? 7.5. Now the next thing you're going to ask is, wow, how am I going to draw that straight line, right? That straight line that is 10 millimeters in width. Okay, so what you can do is you can actually, because you know that the width of your web, okay, the width of the web, let me pull up the drawing. The width of this web is 10 millimeters, so we are exactly on the center line, so it's 5 millimeters on each side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do an offset of 5 millimeters on both sides. Okay, and I'm going to delete these lines later because I don't need them. Okay, I don't need them. So what I'm going to do is that because it offsets, it actually cuts the circle. Okay, actually cuts the circle. So what I can do is I can make use of that to draw this, and then I'm most confident, or I'm confident that this line here, will be 10 millimeters. So if you don't believe, you can always check. Click on one end, click on the other end, and you can see it's 10 millimeters, so you're fine, right? And that's where we can draw our web. Okay, but we don't know where our web ends, so we're going to draw. I'm going to just pull this line out throughout so that it helps me. Okay, I'm going to draw the tower, the log, right, that is on the right hand side. Then I'm going to finish up with the web. Okay, so this width, right, is of the log is the next thing you want to find out is the width of the log. Okay, we know the width of the log. We know that this is 38, right, earlier on, because it's R19, it starts from the edge. Okay, and the width is 19 times 2, it's 38. Okay, so what we're going to do is I can do an offset of 15, 16, 17, 18, offset of 18. Okay, and here, and I'm going to convert this line to an outline. Okay, and I'm going back to the outline layer. Alright, so I'll be drawing the outline layer. and then I'm going to offset. It goes in by, I can offset, or what I can do is I can project. Okay, I can project. Alright, from here all the way in. Okay, there is a danger that you may project from the tip of the center line. Okay, so if you're worried about it, you can leave your center line just a little longer than usual, and you can always check by using infinite line, and you can see, yes, I got it okay, and then what I do is that I trim. Okay, I don't need this, and this outline is the back of the log. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to do a mirror. Okay, because I can choose this, and this is what it is. Okay, and I know that this web here starts from here, goes all the way to the end, and hits the center. Okay, hits the center of the circle, and what I can do is I can confidently draw this line. Okay, it stops here. I can mirror, but no need to bother with that. Okay. Okay, I've drawn most of the outlines for this. Now, what we can do is that, remember when we were drawing our front view, and we do not know where it ends. This is the time where you can continue with your work of your front view, and you know that the boss, right, on the inner side, on the right side, it ends at this point. Can you see the dotted line? So I can confidently draw this outline down. Okay, and I can trim this away and I can draw a line, and this line will represent the web, and I know that it ends here. Okay, now I've got my outlines for my front view done, and I've got most of my outlines for my end view done. Okay, but however, there is a cutout here. Right, there's a cutout at the top, and it's centralized. So it's centralized, and what I'm going to do is I am going to I don't know the dimensions, or I can offset this, but I can leave it to later. Okay, I'll leave this to later so that I can draw my end view, and I use my end view to project it across. Okay, the tricky part for this drawing is in the cutout here. Most students will lose points. There is another outline that is visible on the plan view, and it's actually here. Okay, now what is this outline that I'm drawing? Right, I'm drawing right now. Okay, I'm drawing one. Notice how I'm drawing an additional segment. So that what I'll do is that I'll come back here, select this, and I'll delete it away. There is this outline, alright, there is at the corner over here, and it is this line that is visible. So when you see the drawing, you'll see this line is visible, so it goes across. Okay. So try to draw the outlines first, and then we progress towards the hidden lines. And for the hidden lines, we do it feature by feature, so that we do not miss out. Okay, so that we do not miss out. Right. Now we're going to draw the end view. Okay, and I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to start from this corner. And I know that it's going to start here, 60 in width, and then it goes up by 15 millimeters. I can type 15, or I can project across, right? Yep. And then you ask yourself, is there any outlines here because of the radius? No, there isn't, because the radiuses or the radius are tangent to the lines. Okay, so you won't see it at all. Alright. Now what would help is a center line, so that you can draw it a little bit more efficiently. Okay, and I'll draw my center line here, and my center line comes down here, and I don't need this part, so I delete it away. Okay, now what will happen is I am going to make use of projection to draw my outlines. Okay, and I'll draw from bottom up. So I'm going to go for my outline over here, and I'm going to draw a line. Yes, you can trace over, hit here, and you go down. Okay, and then you move over here, you go across, and that's half of your. Yeah, notice I don't draw the full segment, because later on I'm just going to do a mirror. Okay, later on I'm just going to do a mirror, and then there is an outline, okay, here, from here, that goes up. Okay, it's an outline that goes from here, that goes up. So I have to be disciplined. I have to draw on the side that I've committed myself to. Okay, so you don't draw some features on the left and some features on the right, then after that you have to mirror it twice. So, it becomes very messy. So if you decide to draw everything on the left hand side, then so be it, just draw everything on the left hand side, right? It's okay. Then now I'm going to draw the tower. The tower is here, and it starts here, it comes down. Okay, and it ends here, and the tower, the top of the tower is a circle. It's rounded, it has an arc, and it's tangent. Okay, it's tangent, right? And how about the web, right? The web that runs all the way up, and it cuts this line here. Okay, how about the web? So the web starts at this side. Okay, so what I can do is I can project across. Now I've been showing this method of projection. I'm going to show you another method whereby if you feel insecure about projection, you go to the construction lines and you type in H for horizontal and you snap it here. Okay, and then you can snap it here as well. Okay, and then you type vertical, V for vertical. Oops, sorry. Let's do this, V for vertical. And then this is the part, you see, this is the part where you project the line for the web, and then I project it down. Okay, and I know that the web will start, then that's where I can go to my outline, and I know that my web will start from here, ends here, and goes in here. Okay, and then you check, yeah, everything aligns to the blue line. Okay, after a while you get used to it. At first you may be like, oh, there's so many lines, and then you start to despair, but no, don't despair. Now something is going on here. Earlier I drew an outline that cuts across, and you realize, hey, this line shouldn't be here. It shouldn't be here. Okay, it ends at the back because this web, right? This web is taking precedence. It's in front of you. That's what you see. Okay, so this is the this is the outline that you have, and guess what? We can draw the cutout from here. Okay, and we know that there is an offset. Okay, it's cut out 8 millimeters from the top, right? So 8 millimeters from the top. If you look at this is the one on the top. The cutout is 8 millimeters from top and 12 millimeters in the center. Okay, so it's 6 millimeters from the center. Sorry, 6 millimeters from the center. So I'll do an 8 millimeter offset first. 8 millimeter offset. So that's a deep, fairly deep cut. And then I'll do a 6 millimeter offset. And I use the center line. You know, you don't have to worry like, oh, why am I using the center line? Well, you can just change it to an outline. Okay, you can change it to an outline, and then later on we trim. So this is the part that you need to know what to trim. Okay. Okay, and this is the part. This is an infinite. No, this is not infinite line. So that I can, let's see if I can trim here, and I trim at the bottom. Okay, so I cut out the whole, the center of the lug. Okay, the towering lug, the big lug on the right hand side. So I've got all my outlines for my end view, and I'm going to select all of them, and I'm going to mirror it. Okay, you can select the features first, then you click the mirror icon, or you can click the mirror icon and then you select the features. It's okay. And you notice I use the blue color box to select. So what it means is that I have to encompass all my features within the blue color box before they are selected. Alright, this way it allows me to control my selection a lot better than the green one. Alright, so this is what my end view looks like. Okay, it gets cut across, goes across here. Okay, now let's start drawing the the outlines are not all done yet. Okay, because it cuts across here, right, and it goes all the way across. But however, over here it passes through the hole. Because it passes through the hole, the center segment here is not reflected, and these lines are going to be the first hidden lines that we'll be drawing, and we'll start our hidden line journey. Okay, and it's from here that we can project. Okay, project across. I'm going to draw the cutout on the plan view, and I'm going to draw it so that students can see it clearer. Okay, That's one end of it, and then it starts from here, okay, and then it ends from here. Alright, and this is where I am going to trim so that it doesn't look so messy. Whoops. Trim, and this whole line I'll select it, I'll delete it away. Right. Yes, I should trim the bottom segment as well. Okay, and this is the slot, right? And I'm going to mirror the slot. And this time around, I make use of the green selection box, whereby my selection box just touches the outline, and everyone gets selected. Then I'll click mirror, select objects. These are the ones. Right click to accept, and that's what the cutout looks like. But however, if you were to look at the drawing closely, there are outlines drawn over here. And how is that so? Well, it's because you cut out the whole entire, you made a really deep cut, and the cut was so deep that it starts to expose the hole that is running through this lug. It starts to expose here. So when you look down, there is no material here at all. In fact, this top part here is actually a hole. And if you were to put a shaft in, right, you will be able to see the shaft, and when you put your finger in this little hole, you will be able to feel the shaft, right? So therefore there are outlines there. So how do we draw these outlines? Okay, and it's actually from here. Okay, the outline starts from here, it goes across, repeat, right? Okay, so that's how the outlines look, and I think I've covered all the outlines that I'm supposed to draw. Okay, and I started drawing a hidden line, well, because I needed it to use it for my projection up so that I can create the hole. Okay, now the drawing is not finished yet. Okay, but good job on if you have followed me all the way to this part. I hope you understand it so far. And now once I have most of my outlines out and you check most of the outlines out, you work on your hidden lines. Okay, and you try to draw as much of the hidden lines as you can. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a hidden line. I'm going to make use of the projection method, and I'm going to make use of the mirroring. Okay, so I'm going to do the hidden line for this diameter 15 hole for both the end view and the front view. Okay, so what happens is that make sure that it's vertical, and I click it, and this hole goes all the way through. Okay, this hole goes all the way through. Now once that's done, you delete it away so that you don't create any confusion. And then what I do next is I just do a mirror. Okay, just do a mirror, and my first point on the mirror, second point on the mirror, and this is my hole over here. And what I do is I'm going to draw this hole on my front view, and I know that the center of the hole matches this center line. Can you see this center line that's here? I'm going to extend this a little bit. So this gives me an opportunity to use the copy command, and I'll copy it to select the objects first. Right click to accept, and I'm going to select, say, the bottom. Okay, and it matches this bottom here. Alright, so it snaps. And I have my hidden line. Now if you're not sure, if you're feeling a bit insecure, when you project up, you realize that, hey, you see it matches the plan view's hole, right? It matches the hole in the plan view. So you're good, right? Now what is the next hidden line that you will see? Okay, the hidden line that you'll see on the end view will come from this feature. So we look at each feature one by one, and we see where the hidden lines are. So there should be one hidden line here because there is a hole that goes right through. So what we do is we project it across. All right, and the edge of the holes. Okay, so what happens is that when you go through feature by feature, you kind of zoom in and you kind of ask yourself, is there a hidden line for this feature on the end view? Is there a hidden line for this feature on the plan view? Then you go on to ask what feature next. Okay, what's the next feature that you're gonna draw? Okay, then you say, there is this hole over here. Okay, so there is this hole over here, and we have to draw the hidden lines for this, and it goes across, and you need to make sure that you're projecting from the correct edge. Okay, and sometimes if you have problems trying to trace and you lose and you get fed up of it, forget it. Just go to your construction line and type H for horizontal, snap to here, and you know that there is a hidden line, right, that goes across here. Okay, starts from here, it ends here, it doesn't go across. Why? Because this is a cutout feature, and hidden lines exist within the solid, within the part. Okay, once it's in the open, the hidden line disappears. So you don't draw hidden lines in open space. Okay, you don't draw hidden lines in the open space. Hidden line exists behind a solid feature. Okay, so when I delete this is what I get. Okay, and then because of that same hole, we have a hidden line as well. This hidden line goes all the way through. This hidden line goes all the way through. Previously I forgot there is actually a hidden line for the R24 for this edge here that goes up. Okay, so it starts off here, ends there, right? So there is actually a hidden line. This hidden line is for this edge over here. Okay, if you look at the drawing, you see this line that the little hand is pointing to. If you were to look from the plan view, you won't be able to see this line. Because you can't see this line becomes a hidden line, right? So this line becomes a hidden line. Then you check again that, okay, I have most of my hidden lines out, right? What other hidden lines are there? Okay, you're looking through, there is a hole, physical cutout, there's a hidden line here, you bring it across. Okay, right, I think I am about done. I'm about done with my hidden lines. I am going to finish up with my center lines because I do know that some of my center lines are missing. So I'm going to put in my center lines here. There's one center line here, but you see it overlaps the outline, right? So what we have to do is we actually have to stop somewhere here and then carry on the other side. Okay, we have to make sure that we do not overlap the outlines. And we go over here, and yeah, and actually it stops here. Okay, because this is This is the hole that goes through, and there is actually a hidden line for this large circle that's underneath as well. Okay, because it goes all the way through. For the radius, you did not draw a center line, so I'm gonna shorten my center line for the little boss over here, and I need to extend this center line because this center line is not for a circle. This center line marks the axis of symmetry for this part because this part is symmetrical. So I'm putting the center line there. Okay, although the center line is not shown in the drawing, I should put it in there. Okay. Right, with this, let me do a quick check to make sure that I have all my features. I have all my hidden lines. Then I have my center lines. All holes must have their center lines. Axis of symmetry has a center line. And I'm done. I'm good. Alright. So do check your homework against this drawing. You can take a screenshot, right, and check against your drawing. If you made any mistakes, please make amendments before submitting it to me. Okay. Thank you very much for your attention.